Black Pod, aka Kuku Shodomo, where we speak truth to power. And certainly my name, Blakk Rasta. And from the newsreel, we keep it real. This is the Black Pod. Here we don't criticize. But if we must criticize, we'd only just criticize to build and not to destroy. This is the Black Pod. And my very first story today is taken from Ghana Web. And it says, another by-election in the offing. A Hunter West MP to resign. I read it. The new Patriotic Party member of Parliament for a Hunter West, Ebenezer Kojokum, is reportedly set to resign. According to a news report by Kesben TV, Kojokum has written to the national leadership of the NPP that he wants to step down for health reasons on 2 occasions. Now, the Kesben TV report indicated that the party's leadership wants the Ahanta West legislator to continue, but his family is insisting that he has to resign because he cannot continue due to his ill health. The NPP parliamentary candidate recently returned from the United States of America, where he received some medical treatment. Kojokum, who was the Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, resigned from his position on February 2, 2023 due to his ill health. My brother, we are hearing that there is going to be another by-election. Now, the 2 by-elections that we've had so far, one of them was because an MP passed on. He died. The second one, an unpatriotic MP decided to run for political office in this country when he was not qualified. And according to the courts, his name needed to be expunged from parliamentary records and beyond. Jachi Kwesen. Now, my brother, my sister, another one we are told is about to go. How many of us remember MP Kojokum? Do you remember that when they were voting for the demonic e-levy, this was the man who was carried in an ambulance to the parliament? This was the man, my brother, my sister, who was on life support. And in an emergency, an ambulance brought him all the way to come and vote, because by hook or crook, they needed the demonic e-levy to be passed. It's an insult to this man. If I were this man, I will not even waste my time to write to the leadership to resign. Now, what was the reason the e-levy was needed? They said it was very important because they did not want to go to the IMF. And by implementing the e-levy, the IMF was going to be a thing of the past and will never happen. After bringing this man on life support in an ambulance in an emergency to vote for the e-levy, flying other MPs all the way from America and beyond into this country. One of them was even on the surgeon's table, Canada, Japan, having a major brain surgery. They flew him in to come and plant his thumbprint so that they would be able to pass the demonic e-levy. And now the insult is that after passing the demonic e-levy, they came back with their tails in between their legs to tell us that, oh, it did not work the way they envisaged. And for that matter, they still would have to go to the IMF. Those of them like Canada, Japan, who sacrificed to come and vote, voted because they believed that this was going to save them from going to the IMF. People like Canada, Japan were so vociferous, shouted all over the place, we are not going to the IMF. Anybody who goes to the IMF is a failure. Only for them to end up on the bench and the table of the IMF. It's an insult to a sick man like this Now they are saying, oh, the year is almost ended. The tenure of office is almost ended. Why don't you continue? They are going to kill him the way they killed Atta Mills. When Atta Mills was so sick, and I sat on radio crying all day and all night, praying for the sick president, we had ministers of state who called me to threaten me. And they were on tape. My brother, my sister, we have decided to bury the hatchet, so I'm not going to play any of those tapes. But we had ministers of state threatening that I was not the president's doctor and I had no right to say that the president was ill, when it was so obvious that Atta Mills was dying. He was nasalizing, speaking through his nose. But greedy politicians were still pushing him on. Oh, you are strong. And he believed in their nonsense. He got to the airport and started jogging. He even challenged them to come for a jogging test with him. The same way Ose Akoto, former minister of Agric, is also challenging people to come and play tennis with him. Kojo Kum, please, if you want your life, resign and go. Politics is so dirty and so demonic. If you sit down and watch these greedy guys, you will die. And they will come to your funeral and cry crocodile tears. After a week at most, they will forget you and replace you in another by-election. They are only keeping you in there because they do not want to go through the hustle and bustle of having to struggle and win a seat, which they are not sure of. Your life first, my brother. Do you want to be a dead body? Kojokum, it's time for you to move out. And if the family is listening, please, there is life after politics, but there is no life after death. Think about it. Push away this dirty politics. By election or no by election, look at yourself first. Return with strength, and you can save your nation better. A word to the wise is enough. I'm reading this from Peace FM Online, and it says 1 million American dollars plus 300,000 euros stolen cash. Open up and save your wife if. And this is Kwame Duncan telling Cecilia, the past husband, and I read. Kwame Duncan, a former Central Regional Minister, has called on Madam Cecilia, the past husband, to speak out regarding the controversies surrounding the large sums of money found in their home, including $1 million, 300,000 euros, and millions of cedis. 2 house helps and others are standing trial for allegedly stealing 1 million American dollars, 300,000 euros, and millions of cedis from the Ablekuma residence of the former sanitation minister. Now the 2 house helps, Patience Botry, 18, and Sarah AJ, 30, were previously charged with conspiracy to commit a crime and 5 counts of stealing following the alleged incidents between July and October 2022. Well, so I'm going to skip everything and come to what Kwame Duncan is saying. We all know the details of this story. Kwame Duncan speaking in reaction to this issue on Peace FM's morning show, Kokroko says, if indeed the money belongs to the husband, he should open up so that it can somehow vindicate the wife who has resigned. If it indeed belongs to the husband, who is a private person and no law compels him to indicate his source unless he's engaged in something illegal, but for the purpose of clearing the head of the wife who is at the center of all this, the husband should open up. It's a special circumstance. The wife is a public officer, so he can just indicate that this is my source, so that the wife will be cleared. My God. So this is the nation we live in. It's a very dirty nation. Listen, what Kwame Duncan is saying is that the husband should open up. If the money is for him, he's only giving him a clue. If the money is for you, and then he goes ahead to say, giving another clue, that will save your wife. You are blackmailing the man. You are blackmailing the husband of Cecilia Abnadapa. You see, when people speak tongue in cheek, when people speak so blackmailingly, you need to read between the lines. All that Kwame Duncan is saying is that, hey, listen, now the life of your wife is in your hands. You better go out there and claim the money is for you and set her free, because there's no law in the country that will ask you to show your source. How many people can understand? You see how dirty these politicians are? He's only giving the man a cue. If you truly love your wife, save her. All you need to do is to claim, albeit falsely, that the money is yours. And you are a private businessman. Nobody can ask you to tell them the source. Is it true that there's no law in Ghana that can compel any private businessman to show the source of his money? Then that is very, very terrible and bad. Then how are you fighting money laundering? If there's no law in the country that compels people to show the source of their money. Even when you go to the British Embassy or American Embassy to look for a visa, they want to know the source of your money. You could be a super private person. You could even be a non-existent element. You must prove the source of your money. So how come we say we have no law in this country that can compel somebody, private person, to show us where or the source of his money? These are jokers, my brother, and it hurts me. It's so hurting. It's so sad. Hey, can you believe this? He's only giving the woman a cue. Paul Adumochiri, the MDR, Minister for Defending Rot, came out and was telling us how much money belonged to who and who had what, and how much the husband had, how much Cecilia Dapa herself had, how much some dead man had, and another dead woman, and so many dead people. That is how it is. When you go to Kumawood and they act their movie, and the movie cannot end, they bring dead people, raising them from the dead, and they are ghosts. A ghost can do anything, so the movie can now end. When you go to Nollywood, it's the same thing they do. They don't tell realistic stories. When they realize that their stories are not realistic, then they bring in a ghost who can do anything to end the movie. This is Paul Adumochiri, Minister of Ghosts and Dead Bodies. That is him. He's bringing ghosts and dead bodies into the story. Oh, Scano, now box mo, and omudi koma ni mame, and ani mami wuye before ni mamni be wuno, or the Scano ebre abna da passe abna Scano and uniu unia penny, and I was say unia penny so on so. My God. Oh, what a country of jokers. What a country of jokers. I am hurt and sad. Hey! You see? These are the things that bring about coup d'etats. Much as we as a nation have told ourselves that we don't want any coup d'etat. We hate coup d'etats and will stand by that till the end of time. Some other countries that have not been able to stand firm democratically this could be a reason. Again, no coup d'etat is ever welcome in this country. My brother, my sister, to God be the glory. Well, my time is up and I got to go. I want to appreciate you. I want to say thank you. Eric Mawena Egbeta is in the house. Eric